Hello, people. Welcome to a new episode of Down to Earth with Christian Harloff. I am covering for Christian again. He's out of town. I think he's going to come back on Friday. So today's story has to do with one of the most fringe topics. Today's story has to do with one of the most fringe topics in the UFO phenomenon. It has to do with alien implants, which is a story that has been covered quite a bit over the decades. There's a really nice, thorough documentary from Dr. Roger Leir, who showed a video of an alleged NHI implant extraction. I'm going to show you guys the video right here.
I think this is it, so we're going to x-ray to make sure. I'm objective, and I don't really know that this is different. I really have to have it analyzed, though. You don't know what it is. He's a construction worker. I would imagine it's probably some construction particle that flew and hit him, but didn't even hardly feel. And it was in him. We just found it by coincidence and took it out. That's what I think it is.
The object that we removed today contains or is surrounded by the same type of membrane that we have seen in the other objects. I have never seen anything like the membrane which surrounds these objects. It's a very well-organized, shiny, dark membrane which fits very tightly onto the object. And we've also had analysis of this, and it has simple ingredients in it, but you do not find those ingredients in combination anywhere in any medical pathology book. The shocks began to continue, and especially when we got the first pathology reports back on the tissue, not the tissue that wrapped so tightly the metal within, but the tissue that we removed, just the tissue around the object where it was sitting nicely for so many years. And we found that there was absolutely no inflammatory response whatsoever. And this is impossible. The next thing that we found was there were areas in this tissue surrounding these objects with large amounts of proprioceptors, which are very small, tiny, specialized nerve cells. And you don't find them there. These objects are mostly all located near the bone. This is not the place where you have proprioception. And then the next set of findings that came in were the metallurgical findings. Getting a report back from a laboratory such as Los Alamos National Labs, a world-famous laboratory, telling me the objects they looked at were meteorite samples. Then when we went on even further and found things like amorphous iron without crystalline structure that was magnetic, and then finding ratios, isotopic ratios, for metals that are not from this earth, then what conclusion are you going to come to? Since the time when we started, we now have a total of 10 surgeries that have been performed. We have, let's say, 3 that have produced these little grayish-white balls that are non-metallic. We have 4 that are little cantaloupe seed-shaped affairs. We have another little metallic object which is T-shaped, covered with this membrane. We have one that's triangular, covered with a membrane. Now, we have a new category, which is totally biological. Now, this object was most unusual in the sense that it moved underneath the skin before it was removed. So we have a number of these, at least 8 or 9, which all look the same and have the same essential qualities. What's unusual, another thing that's unusual about this case is when we did the scientific study of what we have here, we find it's sort of an embodiment of all the other 14 cases. If you've been following my research as it's been going, if you go way, way back to the first and second cases, and we had laboratory data coming from Los Alamos National Laboratories and from New Mexico Tech. If you remember, they didn't know what these samples were. This was a blind study, and they came back with a conclusion that these are meteorite-like samples. And as you know, people don't step on meteorites or whack them with their hand, otherwise they'd have a very big hole, and probably not much material would be embedded in it. Once the x-rays are taken, then we know that there's an object there. We use a CAT scan, and the CAT scan will give us the approximation of where the object lies, and we're able to then do the surgery more specifically. I told you it was about 3 to 5 millimeters. It's radio dense. That means that it appears in an x-ray about the thickness of a pencil lead. Second toe again. Estimated date of insertion was February the 28th of 2008. And how do we know that? Well, the individual remembers waking up in the morning, and he saw a couple of drops of blood on the bed sheets, and he looked down at the toe, and there was a couple of small puncture wounds which healed within a very short time. As with the other cases, again, there was no scar and no portal of entry available.
Okay, so the reason I'm showing you guys this is because Lue Elizondo in his book talks about an alien implant being removed from a service member from the military. And he mentions that when the doctor was trying to remove the implant moved away from whatever was trying to get him or get it. And that immediately reminded me of the Matrix films. You guys remember when they get the implant inside of Neo's belly, and then Trinity removes it from his belly, and he was like, wait, that wasn't a dream? That was immediately what I thought of. I'm gonna show you guys a new clip from News Nation, that interview that is coming out tomorrow with Rose Coulthart, where Lue Elizondo confirms that this alien or NHI implant exists and what it did when they tried to remove it from this service person. Here's the clip.
You've actually seen what you believe may well be alien technology, an implant.
I have.
What did you see?
I saw a technical device that had been removed, excised by the Department of Veterans Affairs by a surgeon, a trained physician from a U.S. military service member who claimed to have a UAP encounter. The physician claimed that the object tried to run on him or evade being excised.
So let me get this right. This object, whatever it is, it's a constructed object. It's a technological object.
It's a technological object enveloped in some sort of biological capsule. The current theory is that that capsule is there to fool the body as not to create some sort of immune response to a foreign object.
The physician you spoke to described that object apparently trying to intelligently avoid being captured by the human doctor.
Correct. That is what the doctor reported.
Okay, so these implants is one of the most common occurrences when people who are abducted or have experiences of being abducted report on. I do have a friend that I cannot name because she asked me to not name her. We've been friends for nearly 2 decades. We met in college. She lives in Hawaii, and she, at a certain point, before I got into this, started calling me at night and telling me some weird stories. She told me that there was missing time with her, that she woke up in her bed and there was missing time, and that she had like a headache right after waking up. And then one time when she saw in the mirror, she had this weird feeling in her back. When she looked back into the mirror, she saw like a little triangle marking. And she was really surprised by it. So she sent me pictures. Unfortunately, the pictures that she sent me were from my previous phone because that was a while ago. And I can't find them. I've been looking for them all morning because I wanted to do this video, but I can't find them. I'm gonna try to ask her if she has them again, because I asked her last night, but she hasn't responded to my messages. But it's like a little triangle that like 3 little dots that were like right here on her back, like on the side of her back, right. That was like the first time I had someone that I know happen something like that to them. And I was, before I even got into this, I was like, it's kind of sounds like you're being abducted, because it happened to her multiple times. And then she like moved away from it, and she didn't speak about it like for a long time. And when I started doing this with the channel, I remembered the story she told me, and I called her, and she was like, yeah, that happened to me. And you're right. I didn't ask her about the photos the first time we spoke, but I am asking her now, see if she wants to share them with me, or if she still has them, because she sounded like she moved. She sounded like she moved on from that, you know, because she's married and she's living a happy life and all that. And I'm happy for her though, because a lot of people who suffer this, they don't really get their lives back. They go through extreme trauma and PTSD, and they have a hard time coping with it. And this is something that I think people need to understand, especially people who dismiss experiencers and people who say they were abducted. I think that we need to listen to them more and see if we can help them in any way because of the trauma they are experiencing. A lot of experiencers don't really talk about this, but they really go through a lot. It would be nice if we would be a little more empathetic towards it. It's very revealing that Lue Elizondo talked about this in his book. I'm sure that a lot of people who have talked about this and been dismissed over time feel like this is a win for them. And I applaud this. So I want to thank Lue Elizondo for doing this, because this reiterates what a lot of people have been talking about for decades. These implants are real. They're a thing, and they are of unknown origin as far as we know, but they are real. So keep that in mind. I want to thank everybody for all the comments you guys made on yesterday's video. I'm gonna have to ask you guys that if you like the content here, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel move along and reach a lot more people. Hit the like button too, and you can share it in any platform you like. You can just tag us, either me or Christian. And yeah, this is gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about these implants. If you have any stories you want to share about them, if you have any pictures you want to share about them, you can reach out to me or Christian through Twitter, or you can leave the comment and tell your story. We would really like to read your story. So yeah, without further ado, I'll leave you guys until the next video. Take care.
There's nothing worse than looking at subscriptions that you paid for and forgot that you're paying for them. You sign up for some app, you go, oh, this looks fun. I'm going to do this for 30 days, and then I'm going to cancel it. And you don't cancel it. And then you're getting charged $9.99, $10.99, and it goes up and up and up. Well, Rocket Money can cancel subscriptions for you. And that's exactly what it did for me. It says, look, this are all the things that you're paying for, and now you don't have to do it anymore. Because if you were to guess, what do you think you're paying in subscriptions every month? The answer is probably more than you think. Over 74% of people have subscriptions that they've forgotten about. I did, for sure. And that was exactly what happened. Some cool app that I liked, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm never going to use this again, but I'll use it for 30 days. And I didn't. And I was getting charged for it for like 3 months. Most Americans think they spend around $62 per month on subscriptions, but the real number, $300. That is thousands of dollars a year. And you've all forgotten about it. And that's why I started using Rocket Money. So Rocket Money, to me, I use it for so many different things, whether it's canceled subscriptions, letting me know how much I spent for the month, bills that I have upcoming, things that I need to do, my budgets. It's been a lifesaver. I absolutely love it. It's a personal finance app, and it helps find it cancels the unwanted subscriptions, it monitors your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users, and it's saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/DTE. That's rocketmoney.com/DTE. One more time, rocketmoney.com/DTE.